Today I'm going to show you how to make wine. So the first thing you do is you take your bottles of 100% Welch's grape juice and you dump it into your bucket. So I take them two at a time and just dump them in. Now they have to be 100% grape juice. They cannot have any additives. No, you don't want any additives because that will affect the flavor and possibly ruin the whole batch. So just make sure it's 100% grape juice, not 100% juice, grape flavor. And what most people don't know is that grape juice that you buy at the store, 100% grape juice, is actually only about 25% grape juice. Like this stuff right here is about the Welch's 100% grape juice is actually only about 25% grape juice. So the question is, what's the other 75% roughly? Water. So that's why we have to reconstitute the sugar into the grape juice when we make wine from Welch's grape juice. So we're basically adding back that other 3/4 of the percentage of volume that's sugar. Alright, so each one of these little jugs is a ½ gallon. And so now we have 4 gallons. Now any bucket will do, really. I would buy a new bucket, they're only a couple bucks. If you want to get a food grade bucket, that's fine, but if you look at the bottom, it's made out of the same plastic. So if you want to spend a couple dollars more, you know, so that you have a mental happiness about it, then go for it. Now this is 11 cups of sugar. I buy the big bags of sugar, like Domino sugar, just normal sugar, not, you know, confectioner sugar, nothing like that. And I buy the big bags because it's cheaper to buy it that way than just buying a 5-pound bag. So this is equivalent to a 5-pound bag of sugar. And so I'm gonna dump that in. If you buy a 5-pound bag, you know, that's great. So the grape juice so far, the grape juice has cost us about $4 per pair at Sam's Club. So $2 a bottle, roughly, slightly less than that. So we're at about $16 in grape juice and about, I don't know, what does a bag of sugar cost? $2? We're at like $18. And then we have our yeast. This is just normal bread yeast. We keep it in the fridge because we make bread weekly. My wife does by hand. So you're just gonna take a little bit of bread yeast, or you can go get some, you know, fancy wine yeast or champagne yeast, whatever. But the normal bread yeast that you get at Sam's Club or Walmart or whatever to use for bread works just fine. And the measurement on the yeast is not important. We're just gonna stir it all in, stir it all pretty good. Don't even really need to stir it, but I do it anyway. And but the volume of the yeast is not very important because the yeast self-replicates as you know, as it goes on and on and on until it gets to the proper amount of yeast for the volume of liquid that's in there. So it does all of its own thing all on its own. Alright, so that's good enough. And then we take the lid, and instead of snapping it down tight, you don't want to snap it down tight, you just want to set it on there. If you're afraid that it's going to get bumped off, then you can just kind of snap down 2 edges on each side like that so the air can escape. Because what's going to happen is the yeast is going to eat the sugar and convert it into alcohol and carbon dioxide. So the alcohol and carbon dioxide are both released. The alcohol stays in the liquid, the carbon dioxide wants to float out. So you want to let it release that carbon dioxide, but also not let any air in. So you're basically creating a pressure lock just by setting the lid on there, because it's not going to suck in any air. It's going to be constantly pushing it out very slowly. So you just set it for 3 weeks in a room that's room temperature and, you know, steady. in 3 weeks you drink it. It's really that simple. Now there's a couple extra things you can do if you want to, and I think it makes it taste better, which is called racking your wine. I have put a spigot, you can see down here, I have a little spigot. I just got some plumbing stuff, 1/2 inch spigot with a little 1/2 inch pipe fitting, drilled a hole. Got a little gasket. You can buy kits, or you could buy one of those big jug 5-gallon water dispensers and use that. So, but anyways, the way I rack my wine with this is really handy because it's about 1 inch off the bottom. Is I just take this and put another bucket under the edge of the table and just drain it all out. So the idea when you're racking is when the yeast dies after converting the sugar into alcohol and carbon dioxide, the dead yeast will sink to the bottom and it forms like a sludge at the bottom. So you don't want to disturb that sludge and mix it up into your wine. It's not going to hurt you, it's not bad for you, but it just makes the flavor not as good. So most people don't prefer that flavor, but a lot of people don't even know what that flavor is that they're tasting. So, but anyways, so you don't want to disturb that. So putting a nice little spigot close to the bottom is a great idea. And then also another really easy way is you get a piece of like tubing from Lowe's. You just make a siphon. Just get like, I don't know, 5/8 inch, something that size, 1/4 inch diameter tubing, just normal clear like plastic tubing, and you put it down in there and siphon it out, but you don't want to disturb what's at the bottom. So that's why the siphon works, because if you just dumped it out, then you're going to disturb all of that sludge at the bottom. It's a really thin layer, maybe 1/4 inch thick, but you just don't want it to get all mixed up in there. And so if you really want to rack it a lot, you can do it once a week. If you want to rack it, one time at 1.5 weeks to 2 weeks, that's good too. I found that's like perfect. Is about at 2 weeks, and then I do it one more time right before I start serving it or to my family or whatever. But yeah, so this is the finished product. I'm just starting another batch. I like to start one before it gets done. But as you can see, that's wine. And I've used a hygrometer before to test, see how strong the alcohol is by volume. Sometimes it's 10%, sometimes it's 12%, so I would guess that this batch is around 12%. Now, if you like your wine a little sweeter, you can take and add a little bit more sugar. If you want it not as sweet, then don't add as much sugar. And if you like more of like a Pinot Noir, it's very dark, then add maybe 4 pounds of sugar, maybe 3.5 pounds of sugar. But the neat thing, there's a neat little fact about yeast and alcohol. The yeast will continue to ferment. It'll keep on replicating and fermenting the wine until it reaches 12% alcohol by volume with normal yeast. Now you can get some champagne yeast that will get up to 18%, but basically the yeast goes dormant. Most strains of yeast go dormant when the alcohol by volume is at 12%. So if you want your wine a little sweeter, then add a little bit more sugar, because the yeast is going to stop fermenting it once it reaches 12%. And then however much extra sugar you add is just extra sugar, it makes it sweeter. If you add less sugar and it's below that amount where there's no sugar left for the yeast to eat before it reaches 12%, it's going to be very dry and have no sugar at all. Well, a minuscule amount of sugar you won't even be able to hardly taste, if at all. So, neat little interesting fact. Another little fact, it's interesting, before I let you go, grapes, when they're naturally picked off the vine, they have yeast on their skins, and they're 100% sweet. It's not 25% sugar that would normally be in grape juice. So they watered this down to about 25%. But if they left it at 100%, so you took those grapes, you mashed them up in a bucket and left them, you would end up with 12% by volume alcohol wine, and it would taste delicious. So thank you for watching. I hope this helps you. If you have any questions, just comment below and hopefully I'll be able to get back to you. But this is really straightforward. I mean, there's a lot of wine people that are probably appalled, absolutely appalled at what I'm sharing with you today. Wine snobs, I'm telling you, I've talked to some of them. And that's okay. But this costs about $1 a bottle to make, and me personally, I think it tastes better than any $10, $15 bottle of wine that I've ever tasted. So, alright. Thank you for watching. Please comment and like and share.